Well, I'm down here next to court 10, and at the beginning of the championship, you might catch a glimpse of maybe a round 1 or 2 match-up here. But as we approach the men's finals, well, behind all these people, you never know who you might see. Maybe a 6-time Wimbledon champion. Novak Djokovic then going through his final preparations with his team on court 10, a routine he knows all too well because, of course, he's been in 8 out of the past 11 finals here at the All England Club. His opponent, Nick Kyrgios, has had the unusual preparation of 3 days off since that quarter-final matchup on Wednesday, which he says has led to a few sleepless nights, but he doesn't look tired this morning. He looks pretty relaxed and in good spirits out there on the practice court.
I don't think behind the back's possible. Adam. Andy Murray. Oh. Roger.
It was so great to see Nick and Novak up close and personal down at the practice courts this morning ahead of the men's final. And in case you need a reminder at home of how they got here, well, here's Charlie Eccleshare with the breakdown.
Hard as nails. Novak Djokovic from Serbia is bidding to be recognised as the greatest player of all time. He's won 20 Grand Slams, the same number as Roger Federer. Rafael Nadal's on 22. The way he's playing, it would be tough to bet against him. He needs little introduction. He is so good, he is so tough. He's one of the toughest competitors we've ever seen in this sport, and he'll be backing himself to win another final. It would be his 7th Wimbledon title. Boom and bust. Nick Kyrgios, I mean, he burst onto the scene in 2014, 8 years ago here as a 19-year-old. Out of nowhere, not even ranked in the top 100, he beat Rafael Nadal, the great Rafael Nadal, in 4 sets. And that kind of catapulted him into the tennis consciousness. Suddenly, everyone was talking about this guy, Nick Kyrgios. And to say he's had an up and down 8 years since would probably be an understatement. It has been all sorts of crazy, some amazing results, some pretty bad performances, lots of misdemeanors and controversies. But here he is, 8 years on, and now he's in the final. And he is someone, love him or loathe him, you cannot take your eyes off Nick Kyrgios. Well, what Djokovic has done, he has actually had quite a few tricky matches. In the first round, he dropped a set, came through in 4, same in the 4th round, and in the semi-final against Cam Norrie. But the biggest test he had was in the quarter-final against Jannik Sinner. When he went 2 sets to love down for the first time, people were maybe thinking, it's not such a formality. Is Novak Djokovic really going to win Wimbledon? And he did what Novak Djokovic does. He dusted himself down, went into lockdown mode and said, you are not going to beat me. He wasn't broken again the rest of the match, came through it actually pretty comfortably. And that's why he's just so good, because when the chips are down, when it starts getting tough, that's when he plays his best.
Again, still a match, Djokovic. 3-2.
Nick Kyrgios started with a 5-setter against Paul Jubb, and that kind of set the tone. You know, he's had these kind of weird and wacky matches. In the 3rd round against Stefanos Tsitsipas on court 1 on Saturday night of the first week of the tournament. Incredible box office match. Crowd going wild for him and his opponent, and he came through that. That was a really tough match. Then in his next round, in the 4th round, he had to go 5 sets. And when he dropped the 4th set to Brandon Nakashima, I think everyone was fearing the worst. He managed to come back, you know, in the way that he often hasn't done before. A lot of the time, once it started to go against him, he's got down on himself and things just haven't worked out. And then he came through actually relatively comfortable against Christian Garin in the quarters. So he's had some adversity, some tough times he's come through them. And then he didn't play his semi-final because Rafael Nadal withdrew injured. He'll have a lot of rest time going into that final. Is that a help? Is that a hindrance? I guess we'll find out.
Let's go! A few fireworks.
Novak and Nick have played twice before, and Kyrgios has won them both in straight sets. He will be aware of that test. He knows that Nick Kyrgios is a massive server and can cause him some problems, but those matches were in best of 3. Djokovic will be thinking over the best of 5, if I can get enough balls back into play, can I get in his head a little bit? Will his concentration waver? Because you know Novak Djokovic isn't going anywhere in a 5-set match. With Kyrgios, he can't have these lapses that he sometimes does. You know, this is a guy, Kyrgios, who's had a bit of a love-hate relationship with tennis. You know, he's openly said there have been times when he hasn't enjoyed himself. So for him to come and win at Wimbledon, the biggest title that there is, would just be so massive for him and all the people who support him. And I think he would feel kind of vindicated for all the hard times he's had. To come through and win here, it would just be an incredible story.
Well, a massive thanks once again to Charlie for joining us, not only today, but throughout the championships. There's enough talking from us. Let's find out how that final unfolded.
Welcome to a programme to grace any day, anywhere in the world, sports-wise. Novak Djokovic takes on Nick Kyrgios. It's the championship match, the gentlemen's singles final at Wimbledon.
I've got a real air of anticipation about this match. Watching Nick, we don't know what we're going to get, but it will be a good show.
This is the moment.
What a hustle from Kyrgios.
Not bad for a first go at a Wimbledon final. Champions tennis, that. A 7th Wimbledon, a 21st Grand Slam for this superstar player. You wouldn't say it was been his easiest year.
I saw Pete Sampras win his first Wimbledon in '92, and I asked my dad and mom to buy me a racket, and I always dreamed of coming here, realizing the childhood dream and winning this trophy. And you know, every single time it gets more and more meaningful and special, and so I'm very blessed and very thankful to be standing here with the trophy.
Well, for one final time this championship, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Radzi. Radzi, thanks for joining us. We're going to have a look back at that men's final. I mean, what a matchup it turned out to be. We didn't know which way it was going to go. Nick Kyrgios coming firing out of the blocks and taking that first set 6-4. We thought we were going to have a massive game on our hands.
And I think we had a massive game, but it possibly went to what we thought it might do, unless your name is me and you thought Kyrgios was going to win it in straight sets, which he didn't, quelle surprise. But I mean, that first set, Nick Kyrgios came out firing, so many question marks around him. How will he perform in a final at Wimbledon? Djokovic's done it so many times before, but Nick managed to come out swinging, and he was swinging on target. And then from there, Djokovic does what he's done throughout this tournament. He just gets that data in the first set, he learns about the weak points of your opponent, and he just exploits them for 3 straight sets. You've got to kind of say, it was relatively straightforward work. Nick Kyrgios looked great in points, he looked threatening at times, but Djokovic never seemed to be panicked, never seemed to be concerned, which is hence why he is a 21 times champion.
Yeah, we saw out there, didn't we, on court, that Nick started to get a little bit frustrated, as we've seen him do plenty of times before. Do you think he needs to really build on that weakness, I'm going to call it, if he wants to be a Grand Slam champion?
Personally, no, because I think that's what makes him him. And I don't know what motivates him, but the fact he doesn't have a coach means he's unique. The fact he acts how he does on and off the court makes him unique. So whatever it is, it's kind of working. It's got him to a final. Could he maybe address temperament at some stages? Who am I to say? Because, I mean, he was this far away from being crowned a Wimbledon champion.
Do you think it's possibly a case of opportunity missed for Nick Kyrgios?
For me, we're going to see Kyrgios kick on from here. I think this is a new Nick Kyrgios. We've spoken many a times throughout the last 14 days about him winning the dubs in the Australian Open, getting a taste for winning, a taste for victory, and thinking, I want more of that in the singles. And his run here has not been easy. 2 5-setters against Nakashima and Paul Jubb at the very, very start. A tough match against Tsitsipas that I think most people thought he'd fall at the hurdle of. So he's just proved himself. And I think that serve, he's so dangerous. He hits the ball so well. For me, it's the unforced errors. If you can tie up unforced errors, he's a threat to anybody.
Well, he did get through to his first ever Grand Slam final, but let's talk about his opponent who went to lift a 7th title here at Wimbledon, Novak Djokovic. And Radzi, what's impressed me so much, again, going out on centre court today, the crowd were for Nick Kyrgios. Everything that he's gone through on and off the court this year, to come out and lift his 21st Grand Slam title is pretty incredible.
It is incredible, especially when you consider the next Grand Slam he'll be playing in is probably going to be the French.
Possibly.
In the best part of a year's time. So the pressure was on, and we all know he's got eyes on Rafa Nadal's record. That's what it's all about. When he celebrated, that's possibly the most relieved I've seen his victory celebration being. It was almost muted. It was thank goodness. It was kind of written in the stars in some respects, Rafa Nadal not competing in the semi-final. But like you say, he just showed himself to be a true champion. But how crazy is the statement that in a Wimbledon final, Nick Kyrgios played, and in that Wimbledon final, he was the most popular player? Who would have called that a year ago? And for both players, they've gone on such journeys, overcome so many things, and it kind of lived up to billing. It was a fantastic match.
Yeah, it was. And another word on Novak, obviously 21 Grand Slam titles now,
Yes.
7 Wimbledon titles. Roger Federer has got 8 and Rafa Nadal has 22 Grand Slams. So are those 2 stepping stones what he wants to reach next? Will he keep going until he reaches those 2 targets?
I heard somebody say on social media, and I find it hard to disagree with the statement, he thinks that will be the last time Novak lifts a Grand Slam trophy. The fact that the French will be the next one, who will be there at Wimbledon, move to one side, your Federers, your Nadals. There are so many players now nipping at their heels. I find it hard to disagree.
Well, we know one thing for sure. Novak Djokovic takes the men's singles title once again, his 4th consecutive trophy here at the All England Club and his 7th overall. Congratulations to that man. Well, Novak Djokovic wasn't the only winner today at SW19. There are plenty more champions all over the ground.
And Schroeder takes the title.
The world number 1, Shingo Kunieda, wins his maiden Wimbledon singles title.
Well, he's flat on his back.
What a performance from the Japanese-American pairing.
It's doubles Dutch for Niels Vink and Sam Schroeder.
Wimbledon champions again. Won 5 together, and they thoroughly deserved it.
Well, what a final day here then of the championships. It's been a great fortnight. Radzi, I want to pick your brains, go back right the way to the start of it. And
feels like a long time ago now.
Yeah, ask you your thoughts. And we're going to start, I guess, with your player of the tournament. I mean, it's hard to pick. We started with 128 on the ladies and 128 on the men.
And that doesn't even include dubs or wheelchair.
Boys, girls.
Exactly. The obvious thing is we choose a winner. I'm not going to go for a winner. I'm going to go for just a story I loved, and it was on Jaguar. She didn't quite finish off with the fairy tale, but what a journey it's been. What I think a moment it's been for the Arabic world, especially ending on the first day of Eid. It meant so much to Tunisia. You could clearly see her emotion afterwards, and I just feel as though every year she comes back now, she's going to be a crowd favourite. She is now part of the furniture here in Wimbledon, and she's just shown so much at this championship. An old school style of play, lots of chips, lots of slices, lots of drop shots. Maybe that cost her the title, I don't know. But for me, I'm going to go player on Jaguar.
People have been saying the on Jaguar magic, maybe she can sprinkle it back here next year. Well, let's go then to the shock of the championships.
Okay, there have been a few. The standout one has to be the semi-finals. I mean, how often have a semi-finals not been contested? And of all people, Rafa Nadal. I mean, again, go back to predictions at the start. If you'd said Kyrgios going to be in the final, I wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah.
If you'd said...
You did actually say that early on, anyway.
Yes, thank you for reminding us of that, Rach. I appreciate that one, because I don't get many of my predictions right. But that Rafa Nadal exit, he gave everything of himself in the quarterfinals. Never before have I seen a team say to their player, not come on, keep going, stop, Rafa. You must stop. And he was like a soldier.
He wouldn't look at them, would he?
He wouldn't. It was remarkable. It was difficult to watch at times. It was remarkable to watch. And so for me, that semi-final, that bye for Kyrgios, big shock.
Yeah, it was a massive shock, of course. That will be one of the take-home memories, I think, won't it? But let's go to one of your moments of the championship now.
Okay, strangely, it won't be a moment on the court, but in a way, a moment off the court. And as somebody who's tried for a long time to get into TV and is now a broadcaster, I'm sure you'll appreciate as well the work of Sue Barker.
Well, especially for British audiences, of course.
Totally.
She's a legend over here in Great Britain.
Absolutely right. And for any legendary player that's played at Wimbledon, in the last 30 years, they've played under the stewardship of Sue Barker. She's just a 30-year career at Wimbledon, a former player herself, so much history making a final here herself, and to kind of be saying goodbye is just, there aren't that many legends in the TV game anymore, and she's one of them, and we say goodbye to her. So for me, the moment is the goodbye of a legend, Sue Barker.
Didn't expect you to pick that as your moment, Radzi, but it's a lovely way to end on. Thank you so much for joining us today and throughout the championship as well. And one final time, we're going to head over to the lighter side of the championships.
The size of that water bottle.
Have to stay hydrated.
She's gone the wrong
Karolina
way.
Pliskova has not realised that you're meant to come out of that door.
Someone's scored very well, must be an Englishman with the way that the cricket team's playing recently.
Yes.
We saw that.
You're not allowed.
This Murphy's been working on his reactions as well. It's not just his outfit that's sharp.
Look at that.
Flat 15.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Like they're having a kiss. Nose to nose, literally.
Got it.
Well done, even with the slip. That's great to see.
Why not? It's Wimbledon. Just in case we need reminding, she's written it on it as well. That's for when you're travelling to Wimbledon, so that people don't just worry about you.
Beautiful. Watch out, it's moving the umpire.
A little bit of an unusual grunt.
What was that noise? Sounded like a mouse. It's been stepped on.
Oh, he's going to put it away. I didn't see it.
Have 2 match points here, and surely he's going to try and finish with a big one here.
That's gone on to centre almost, hasn't it?
I didn't mean quite that big, Mark.
I'm sure we're going to see much of you in the later stages of Grand Slam, man. And I never thought I'm going to say so many nice things about you, considering the relationship. Okay, it's officially a bromance. All right.
We had a first-time winner crowned, and we had a 7-time Grand Slam champion as well, all under the sun on finals weekend. And what a championship fortnight we have been blessed with. It's been absolutely incredible. Thank you to every single person who joined us on the show, and thank you to everyone at home who watched as well. We hope you loved it as much as we did. That's it for this championship. We'll see you next year. Goodbye.
Hello, a warm welcome to Wimbledon 2022. A big year with the centenary of the centre court.
It's all about that feeling that's making you believe in more than just a fantasy. It's all about that feeling, the things that you believe in will show you who you are.
She's done it! Another remarkable Wimbledon story.
More than just a fantasy. It's all about that feeling that's making you believe it.
What an upset!
What a match, what drama, what noise on court one.
This championship celebrating 100 years of this place, this centre court.
The last Brit standing.
And the sun continues to shine at the start of this second week at the All-England Cup.
It's a sumptuous performance.
What a remarkable story.
This dream carries on.
And the Kyrgios show moves into a Grand Slam semi-final.
Poor Rafa Nadal unable to take his place against Nick Kyrgios.
And we're sharing memories that'll last a lifetime.
Oh, look at this.
It is an 8th Wimbledon final for Novak Djokovic.
But there she is, a new name, a new champion, Jelena Rybakina.
Champions tennis, that. A 7th Wimbledon, a 21st Grand Slam for this superstar player.